So, you want to be a producer? Well, let's pay hundreds of dollars and get started. Oh wait, you don't have hundreds of dollars? Okay, let's start with something that's free, right? Oh crap. Where are the tutorials? Where's the how-to guides? Where are the plugins? How do I do this? Oh sweet, this guy MACO the producer, he knows how to produce this stuff, right? Oh, but he doesn't have like that many videos because he's like a normal human being who's new to YouTube, right? Oh, and this program is still weird. What is going on with it? Okay guys, it's hard to make music, right? I have been making music for probably about 8-9 years here. I have used all kinds of different softwares. I've used Ableton, I've used FL Studio, I've used Logic, I've used Pro Tools a little bit, I've used Serum, I've used Melodyne, I've used all those plugins. But before all of this, what got me into music production, besides the fact that I'm a drummer, I play guitar, play a little bit of piano, I just love music, I wanted to make it myself, right? And back in the day, a little secret, because this is a little embarrassing, I used to think how Skrillex made his music. My friend told me this, okay? He said they take orchestral sounds and then they throw all these crazy effects and stuff on it, and that's how they make dubstep. Failure. Before I learned how to make music professionally like the pros do, I had humble beginnings in LMMS, which is the free software that I keep talking about on this channel, and that I think you should try out. I swore by it. I thought it was cool. I thought it was awesome. I thought I was a cool music producer when I got it. So let's go back to 2019 when I was starting to feel, I had been using LMMS for probably about 6 years at this point, and I was starting to get into a rut. I was feeling like I could only make certain sounds with the music I was making. I could only make certain things with LMMS. It was lacking some of the tools I needed, like I couldn't record audio. I couldn't use like third-party VSTs like all the cool producers were using. I was very limited with what I could actually do, and I think because of the limitations, I was able to make some creative things. On this channel, I've talked about how blaming the tool instead of the person who's using the tool is just laziness and is an excuse. And that's partially true, but there comes a point when you have to decide, okay, is what I'm using not actually meeting what I needed to do, right? So I came to this point around 2019 and I'm like, LMMS is not cutting it for me. I need something more. So this is where I started. So what was my problem with LMMS? Okay, so the biggest problem I had with LMMS was it crashed easily. The program had multiple different versions that you could use. The different releases had different sorts of bugs, but they all had kind of the same problems. You'd have to constantly Control S. Save was your friend all the time. You couldn't undo things very well. You had to be very careful with how you structured and created your stuff. And if you didn't save your stuff and it crashed, that was a horrible day. Another big thing was it barely could support, and when I say barely, it means not really well, could support VST plugins. VSTs, if you don't know, are a third-party industry standard that most producers use to produce music. The other big thing was I couldn't record vocals, and this is super important, especially if you want to be a professional. Now, I don't claim to be a professional vocal creator, but it's still something that's super important to work with samples on the fly and just have that functionality, which is not something that's easy in LMMS. I tried to do some of this on Audacity, but I had some of the same issues, and using 2 programs to accomplish one song, it just is a lot more tedious and requires a lot more careful planning, and by the time the idea is actually on the canvas, you kind of lose inspiration for it. And lastly, I felt like it only could make certain types of sounds. But LMMS people, the people who are developing this, the biggest issues with LMMS, the biggest issue is when you get a new computer and it's time to move all of your stuff over to LMMS. Now I know there's a little bit being done about this, but it's still not very easy to do, right? Right now, currently, I can't open up my Greatest Showman project because I've had 2 computers since then. I want to show you how I made this track because that is my most popular song on YouTube, but I can't actually do it because I can't transfer the stuff over. Collaborating with other artists is just not there, right? Like the best way to collaborate with other artists is you use the same tool, right? But sometimes people have different preferences, like I do. The biggest difference that some of the producers I work with use Logic. Right now I use Ableton as my primary DAW, and they're not the same tool, but the easiest thing to do when you're collaborating is you export all of your samples, right, and just send them over over to the next person. Put them in your DAW and use them as you like. However, with LMMS, it's a pain in the butt to do this, right? You can't just throw a track in and line it up and then change the pitch or the timing of it very well so that it's easily lined up. This is a big problem, I think, and severely limiting for LMMS. The glitches just are terrible, and sometimes I understand that this is open source free software. It's a passion project. The people who made this product aren't making money from it. I understand that, but that is a limitation of using LMMS. It's glitchy and you have to work around those glitches, and sometimes it's painful to work around those glitches. Another big thing is MIDI support is just meh. Like, it's not the greatest. I remember back in the day I had a lot of problems with it. Right now it's a little better, but it's not as like seamless and easy to do as I would like it. And you don't have a lot of control over it besides just saying, I want this piano to play this 1 or 2 or 3 tracks. It's harder to throw things like knobs, as far as I know, and control different effects and things like that. And the biggest thing is VST support. I can't throw in Serum and it actually work correctly without it crashing. On a Mac, you can't even use VST plugins, period. So on a Windows computer back in the day, on Windows 7 and Windows 10, I was having tons of issues with it. Now I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty certain those issues are still going to be around. Those don't just disappear. On Linux devices, I don't have a lot of experience running LMMS on a strictly Linux device, but I would imagine those issues present themselves as well. So that's all I'm going to talk about in this video. Kind of a different tone, right? LMMS has its problems. Why do I still talk about LMMS? Well, I still talk about LMMS because I think it's a great first program to get your feet wet with how to produce music, right? Sometimes people who are musicians or want to learn how this stuff is made, or just kind of want to try something new, a free program. I try free software all the time, and some of it is like I try it a couple days and then I decide I don't need to use it anymore. LMMS could be that program for you where you try it out and you decide this isn't for me producing music, or you decide this is kind of fun, I want to learn more about this. What I'm trying to provide for you is tutorials and understandings for LMMS, but I also want to take this channel in a different direction soon here, where we start going from LMMS to your next DAW, right? That is the journey I want to take you on this YouTube channel. So if you guys like this video, be sure to like, comment, subscribe. I would appreciate any comments that you have about this. What are your thoughts about LMMS? Am I completely wrong about my assessment of LMMS, or do I have too high a standard for it? In the next video, I'm going to be talking about the exact journey that I had going from LMMS to Ableton and why I chose that instead of FL Studio. Okay, thanks so much for watching this video. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.